saying there were many streams of intelligence, but he also stated that he thought all along, he made it clear, that there was significant terrorist involvement. And that is not my recollection of what he told us on September 14th.
Republican Congressman Peter King after David Petraeus testified behind closed doors today. And tonight from Miami, again, syndicated columnist Charles Krauthammer. Charles, I've been trying to figure out what this is about. I think you're testing the waters for 2016.
No, what I'm doing is I'm spreading truth, justice in the American way to every warm weather city with a beach.
I hope you're getting paid for it.
Enough to pay my taxes, yes, correct.
Hey, guess what? They're going up one way or the other, so you're going to need the money.
But that's...
Go ahead.
You can do that if you actually work on weekdays rather than just on Sundays.
This is what passes for wit here on Fox. Charles, you weigh in.
Well, let's not talk about Susan Rice. Let's take the president's own demand that we not pick on the little lady and we pick on him. All right, let's accept the challenge. And he said, after all, she was just my spokesman, even though she knew nothing about this. All right, so what he's asking us to say is that the President of the United States, using a spokesman who knew nothing about the issue, went on 5 television shows and gave one version of a story where the classified version clearly said this was a terror attack, and yet the version that was heard on every network was this was a riot that got out of control, this was nothing else, and there is no evidence of anything else. That's pretty unequivocal. That means that we have to lay it at the feet of the president. I'm willing to accept that challenge. Clearly, if Petraeus is saying today, as he did, that there was al-Qaeda and a terrorist involvement in his report at the CIA level, and somehow it got altered, distorted, or made deceptive by the time it reached the White House can see the classified information, knows it was a terror attack, and puts out a story it wasn't. That is very strong evidence of deliberate deception at the highest level, and yes, let's put it at the level of the president.
Let me just raise one caution, or at least one question with you, Charles, and that is, we know the talking point changed from the CIA when it left Langley, CIA headquarters, to when Susan Rice appears on the Sunday talk shows. The question is, was it changed by the White House, or was it changed by the intelligence community, including the Director of National Intelligence? We don't know that.
We don't know that. That's a question that remains, but that does not change the issue of deception. If the defense of the Democrats, and we heard Kent Conrad say this, the Democrat on that committee, well, you got to understand, there was a version that was classified and a version unclassified, and they were giving the unclassified version. But if you've read the classified, and clearly the White House had to have been informed of the classified at some level by somebody, then clearly they are deceiving the nation, saying something they know not to be true.
Israel has made it clear that it will not tolerate rocket and missile attacks on its civilians. I hope that Hamas and the other terror organizations in Gaza got the message. If not, Israel is prepared to take whatever action is necessary to defend our people.
What do you think of the chances the situation will escalate or de-escalate?
It's not in the hands of Obama. It's not in the hands of the United States. The de-escalation would have to come from Hamas, who obviously are the ones who started this, with 150 rockets shot in a few days shortly after Election Day. That's what caused this round. Israel has no interest in attacking Gaza, but it had to retaliate because its population was being attacked. So why is Hezbollah involved in this? It's asserting itself as a strategic equal to Israel, no longer the weak sister, a party as strong as Hezbollah. It showed it's got rockets, the Jafar 5 rocket from Iran, which surprised the Israelis by reaching Jerusalem, which hasn't been hit by a rocket since 1970. It knows it has Egypt as a very strong ally behind it. In the past, Egypt was neutral or quietly pro-Israel. The Egyptian, the Muslim Brotherhood, is making very strong threats against Israel, so it's strengthened in that way. Turkey, a former Israeli ally, is now pro-Gaza. So the strategic situation in the region has changed radically. And what Hamas wants to show is that it is the leader of the Palestinians when its rival, Fatah, led by Abu Mazen, is going to the UN like a supplicant and trying to get a seat in the UN. And Hamas is saying, we are the defenders of jihad, of the homeland. We can stand up against the Israelis, and we can make them and the United States ask for a de-escalation. That is a huge strategic achievement for what was once a small insurgency called Hamas.
This has been a Sunfish production.